up on today's episode of the AMA Drone Report. The remote ID NPRM is hit with massive responses. The AMA submits official comments on the remote ID proposal. And what happens now after the comment period is ended. Welcome to Airborne's AMA Drone Report, a weekly news program covering the recreational drone world, in partnership with the Academy of Model Aeronautics, one of the oldest and most respected aviation organizations in the world, with more than 200,000 members and 2,400 clubs across the country. I'm Sophie Hurlock. At last count, the FAA's remote ID NPRM had almost 53,000 comments before the deadline on Monday. This astounding number could be a record and will require the government to undertake months of study to read through them, catalog the trending data, and prepare a proper summary for the FAA to examine as they begin the final rulemaking process. The massive response rate also gives commenters a tool to urge their elected officials to hold the FAA accountable for the tremendous number of negative responses and ensure the FAA takes all comments into full consideration before they act. We will continue to follow this story. Now let's take a quick look at news making rounds of the small UAS and hobby drone communities. It's time for today's Drone Minute. DJI filed an 89-page formal comment urging the FAA to allow drone pilots to choose which method of remote identification to use with their drones, significantly reducing the cost and complications of remote ID while boosting compliance. DJI's filings include an independent economic study that concludes the FAA's remote ID proposal would be 9 times as costly as the FAA's estimates, imposing $5.6 billion worth of burdens on society over the next decade. The FAA's proposed rules for UAS integration is an overreach answer that threatens traditional pathways in demand aviation, according to the EAA. As part of its official comment submitted on March 2nd, the EAA noted in the agency's attempt for regulations to keep pace with growing UAS technology, it has harmed the freedoms and long-standing safe operations maintained by the traditional model aviation community. Elon Musk turned some heads after telling fighter pilots their time is come and gone, adding he believes they'll be replaced with a new generation of autonomous drones.
The fighter jet era has passed. Well, for the air domain, I think things are definitely going to go into kind of autonomous, locally autonomous drone warfare. Is where it's at, where the future will be. I'm just saying, it's not I want the future to be this. It's just this is what the future will be.
Drone pilots across the nation responded en masse to the harm they felt the FAA's remote ID NPRM would do to their hobby. On February 29th, a number of pro-hobby drone protesters picketed FAA headquarters and made their voices and concerns known. The protest was peaceful, positive, and occasionally funny, and was one more way the hobby community let their voices be heard against FAA overreach. We'll be right back with the rest of the news. Just prior to the March 2nd deadline, the AMA weighed in on the remote ID NPRM with their official stance. In their extensive response, the AMA notes, according to the NPRM, the FAA states that requiring remote ID technologies would address safety, national security, and law enforcement concerns regarding further integration of these aircraft into the national airspace system of the United States. AMA members support the safe and secure operation of all UAS, commercial and recreational, in the NAS. For more than 80 years, AMA members have been safely operating in the NAS, a fact repeatedly and publicly acknowledged by the FAA. However, the proposed rules do not improve the safety or security of model aircraft activities, but rather only impose unnecessary and costly regulations to the one part of the UAS community with existing safety and security standards in place. You can read the AMA's comments in full on their blog at amablog.modelaircraft.org/AMAGov. The public comment period for the remote ID NPRM may be closed, but the AMA has already notified its members their fight is far from over. In a video entitled "Thank You for Commenting, What's Next?" posted to the association's blog and YouTube page, AMA President Richard Hansen and AMA Executive Director Chad Boudreau state,
"Thank you. We cannot express that enough. Thank you. We asked for your help in commenting to the FAA. The FAA received well over 50,000 comments. Important in the rulemaking process. I must say, though, the next steps could be a little quiet from the FAA. Rulemaking requires the FAA to review and comment and address each comment to shape the next version of the rule. Now, it could be a new proposed rule, it could be a final rule. This process could take months, but likely it'll take years. So we're going to continue working behind the scenes, looking at not only the executive branch, but the judicial, perhaps legislative branch. But for you as the member, our recommendation is go out and fly. Grab a model plane, go to a flying field, go out to your backyard, go to an event, and enjoy this great hobby.
Absolutely. I mean, we're still flying model airplanes much the same way we have for years, and I anticipate that we will continue to fly in the same manner. So I hope that you guys just continue to have fun and enjoy the hobby.
And that's all for this week's Drone Report. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to check us out on Twitter and on Facebook. For more information on the exciting hobby drone world, head over to modelaircraft.org. I'll see you tomorrow.